I want to speak to you from 1 Kings chapter 17, and I just want to ask you this question, and that is, where is your there? Where is your there? And I'm asking you that because the passage today, Elijah is in a place where he needs the help of God. He needs provision from God. He's got an enemy in Ahab. He needs God's protection, God's provision. There is things happening in the land that no doubt him being in the land is affecting him, but ultimately this is God's man, and you and I can relate. If you're God's son, you're God's daughter, you're God's man, you're God's woman, we can relate to us being God's. And ultimately, what we find here is that God sends him to a there. If he don't go there, if he don't get there, he'll miss out on what God has for him, and yet the there doesn't sound too attractive. I'm sure when he heard of the there, maybe though it wasn't vocalized, maybe he thought, there? But he needed to get there if he was going to experience God in his need. We read it in 1 Kings chapter 17 where the Lord tells him to get thee hence and turn thee eastward and hide thyself by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. He needed food. There was a drought. He needed food. He needed drink. And God told him to go and sit by a brook. Get your drink there. I'm going to send the ravens to feed you. Now, I can assure you that how it was that God provided for him, he didn't think, but yet God had a there. And God didn't need for him to think about how he was going to meet his need. He just needed him to obey and get there. And the Bible says, verse 5 of chapter 17, and so he went and did according unto the word of the Lord. And when he got there, the word of the Lord was true, and his need was met. You'll see in verse 8 that the word of the Lord comes to him again and tells him to get up and go to a place called Zarephath. And ultimately it sends him to a place of a widow and her dying son. And yet God uses that there to now minister to him again, to provide for him again. Again, he's got to think, there? Now you want me to go there? But his job was not to question God. His job was just to trust God. So he gets there. When he got there, God met his provision. But you know what the Bible goes on to tell us in verse 17? It goes on to tell us how God used Elijah to restore a boy to life. He would have never been able to be used to give life to that boy had he not obeyed God's there, which I remind you that there, probably practically speaking, didn't make sense. But God's theirs always do. So I'm just simply asking you, maybe your there is out of there. Maybe your there is over there. Get in there, away from there, or right there. Paul says, I have learned whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. Let his there be your there, and you'll find you may be the answer to somebody else's prayer of a there that they're looking for too. God bless.